everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Nick Kinzel.
And I'm Tom Hoblin.
and the 2025 NASCAR season has officially kicked off this past weekend with Daytona. We had some thrilling races, guys. Daytona never disappoints, whether you're happy about it or you're mad about it. It's always an exciting time. But before we kick off all that, let's start off with our diecast of the week. Tom, what you got for us today, buddy?
I don't think I've ever showed this before because I always miss it when it comes up. I don't know where I got it. I don't know where it came from, but it's a year 2000 promotional 124 for Atlanta. And
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
it's a nice diecast. It's got front shocks and whatnot. Like the stuff opens up here, the hood and the boot opens. Like it's a pretty good diecast. Got steering and whatnot. But I always remember that I have this after Atlanta week, and then I'm like, well, I can't show it now. But so this was from the Cracker Barrel Old Country Store 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, allegedly in the year 2000.
Oh wow,
Wow.
cool man. That's a cool
So
diecast.
just an odd one to have, but I got it.
Oh
So
yeah,
pull it out.
absolutely. Well, Nick, what you got for us today, bud?
So I'm gonna start doing this now. I kind of talked to you guys about it. Like I have like the same 30 diecasts that I play on here, so it just kind of gets old and repetitive. Though for my 124, so I'm just gonna start busting out some of the hundreds of the 164s that I have. I have too many of those. So we just had the Daytona 500 this past weekend, and this guy was a Daytona 500 winner in 2010, and that is a little one car over here of
Mm.
Jamie McMurray. Beautiful Bass Pro Tracker Boat scheme. I believe this is from the 2011 season, I want to say. Yep. Oh, always knew old Jamie Baby in the number one Bass Pro car. Just yep. I was just digging for a diecast. I was like, ah, cool. Here we go. We'll bust this one out.
Oh yeah, dude, those cars were awesome. The car tomorrow without the wing, oh, that racing was incredible.
Who could forget DW saying, "Oh,
Jamie
Jamie Baby."
baby, one of the best calls
uh,
ever.
oh yeah.
All right, so for my diecast of the week, we just had a two-time Daytona 500 winner, so I thought I had to bust out his rookie flames, the Exalta, Mr. William Byron. As
Ooh.
you can tell, it's got the rookie stripes on there, so no one gets confused.
Oh,
Um,
what are those?
yeah, right. But just a classic scheme. I just love how he always runs the old Exalta flames on there. They look so cool, and it looked good in Victory Lane
All right.
and made me $70, so I'm not mad.
Yeah.
All right, so big news here. Hendrick Motorsports, they announced their driver lineup for the 17 Xfinity Series car coming up for this 2025 season. William Byron will be running it at Circuit of the Americas in Charlotte. Larson will be at Homestead in the Spring Bristol race. Larson at Homestead in the Xfinity car. You can already call him the winner right now. That's not even going to be fair. Chase Elliott's going to be at Darlington, and then Corey Day, dirt racer. We've seen him run up in the Truck Series and the ARCA Series. He is going to be running with HMS at both Martinsville races, Texas, Nashville, Sonoma, Iowa, Bristol in the fall, the Roval, Fall Vegas, and Fall Phoenix. So they really like this kid, and I'm really excited for what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they'll have a bunch of good drivers shake out this car, and when it's not, it's getting this young kid some experience, and so I mean, good for Corey Day. I mean, this guy was handpicked by Jeff Gordon and Kyle
Yeah.
Larson, I believe.
Yeah. That was the
So
one. I,
yeah, it's great experience for him. Also, great exposure for him. I mean, that car is going to be featured. They'll be like, look at this car. It's usually driven by Kyle Larson, but this week it's Corey Day, and we're like, oh, who's Corey Day? So well, I guess we'll find out what Corey Day can do. He's in a lot of races. We'll see him a lot this year.
yeah, a lot of races, a lot of different tracks too. So he's really going to get some experience at all the kind of tracks that we race here.
Yeah. Biggest opportunity that this kid has had in his racing career here. So hopefully he'll be able to make a name for himself with one of the fastest cars in the garage. All right, guys, this just in, literally just came in. Poor Chase Briscoe. We know he was on the pole for this Daytona 500, but he just got smacked in the face with a 100-point penalty. He loses 10 playoff points. James Small is gone for 4 races, and the team has been fined $100,000. Massive, massive stuff. Right now, Chase Briscoe sits negative 67 points behind. That is absolutely insane. What a awful way to start the season.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I mean, starting with the speed, you wonder how much of that came from, or how
Yeah,
much
I
of that
wonder
pole
why.
speed came
I wonder why
came
he's
from
so
this. But
fast.
they were looking so good and whatnot. With a new team, you just want to have a nice start to the season, and now you're starting behind. I mean, it's given me shades of Noah Gragson last year. I mean, they were having a hell of a beginning of the season, but they started with a big points penalty, and so it just felt like they were playing from behind, playing with one arm tied behind their back. So we'll have to look to see how they respond. But you also lose your crew chief. Is it the crew chief, right?
Yeah, James Small
So
gone for
losing
4 races.
They don't even have a
losing your
relationship.
losing your crew chief when you're still trying to establish that relationship, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard because yeah, he's new to this team. Him and James Small have one actual points paying race under their belt together and one exhibition race. They don't have a chemistry yet. They don't have any of that. So to start the season off like this, that is just crazy. But I will
Yeah.
say this: I honestly, if it's going to happen, let it happen after race number one. Chase Briscoe drives for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's going to still have a very fast car. It might be a little bit of a tough start to the season now that he's going to be without his crew chief for 4 races, but he's still in a fast car.
Mhm.
I do think that this is a deficit that he can make up because he should have race winning cars. He should have race winning cars
Exactly.
at Joe Gibbs Racing. So I still expect him to be fast, be up front, and I'm just gonna say I think he's lucky that it's happening to him now. Get it out of the you never want it to happen, but have it happen now so you still have 25 races
Right.
until the playoffs to make this up.
You
But
you
still,
know
that's
you
crazy.
know where you're
Yeah,
starting. You know what
right.
you have to make up. But he's it's listed in the points. There's something like 10 drivers with single digit points after Daytona 500. And then there's Chase Briscoe at
Yeah,
minus 67.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
two races basically that he's behind. Um, and then losing 10 playoff points. I mean, this is
It's
a
crazy.
race winning car. I expect to see the 19 car in victory lane a couple times this year.
Yeah.
You'd think, but now he's got it just losing 10 playoff points. He's got to make that up.
Yep.
Um, tough, tough for a guy trying to learn the system of a new team and a new manufacturer.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Joe Gibbs Racing will appeal the penalty.
Of course.
I guess the issue in question was caused in the assembly process when bolts used to attach the spoiler base to the deck lid caused the pre-drilled holes to wear due to the supplied part interference. So,
They're gonna blame crappy parts.
yep, crappy
Man.
parts.
Mm,
Yeah, there's only one way for him to solve this problem. Go out and win. That's
Yep.
one way
go
to,
Go
win.
to
to
victory lane on
yeah, go out
Sunday.
and win. Go out and win and then this all goes away.
Yep, that's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
And a couple other penalties that are coming through here. It just says the 34 and the 51 were penalized for a safety violation with ballast found outside their ballast containers. So they were each docked 10 points
Okay.
in the driver standings and the owner standings. So not huge at all, but a safety thing. You can't have that ballast flying around. I mean, it's the reason why Bowman got knocked out of the playoffs last year is because he probably lost some ballast. And those they're heavy pieces of lead you can't have sitting around on the track.
Yep.
But the JGR panel, that's huge. That's huge. But Nick, I love your point. You want it right now. You don't want it 15 races in.
But guys, let's get into Daytona from this past weekend. We kicked off with the Truck Series. Mr. Benjamin Rhodes won Stage 1 and Matt Crafton won Stage 2. So a good start to the season for the Thor Sport drivers, getting a playoff point and 10 points as well. And how about Mr. Lane Riggs getting that one bonus point for being the fastest truck in the race? We saw they introduced this rule before the start of the season, and I already love it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to come down. It's going to matter. We see, like we said last week, we see it come down to single points all the time, and so this one point could come back and help Lane in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Parker Kligerman crossed the finish line first, but he
Nice.
was unfortunately disqualified for ride height violation. Corey Heim was declared the winner, and he's locked into the playoffs. But we heard Parker Kligerman. He thinks that him and the team have a good case on this, and they'll be able to get that win back. I hope that they can because we know Henderson Motorsports. They're just a small team. They run part time, and these wins mean everything to them. So hopefully they'll be able to appeal it.
I just think it would be funny if Corey Heim goes from, "Oh yeah, I'm in the playoffs," to, "Oh no, I'm not." Not that he won't be in the lock himself into the playoffs sooner than that. Or, but yeah, it sucks for Parker. He's such a good guy, and you could see the emotion that he had for winning this race. He called it the biggest win of his career, one of the biggest races of his career. So you could see the emotion that was there. But yeah, it just sucks to see it go down like that. They said they had a good case for it, so let's hope that they overturn it and Parker can get his win back.
I mean, you hope somebody like Parker can get that put back on the resume, and he's just such a good dude. Everybody seems to love him, whatnot. I don't think Corey Heim would be too concerned if he loses this win. It's a long season, and he's going to win every other race that exists. So I'm not super worried about Corey Heim. You just going from first to last for that 75 truck is going to be detrimental to the rest of their season almost, or at least you'd figure that. So you hope that they can get that prize money back and more of the business side of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's
I
get.
thought the hold on. I thought
Yeah,
the truck race though was incredible. We always come back and say it was a wreck fest, but like you could see those guys making moves and whatnot. I mean, Corey Heim, it's not like he didn't earn this win. I mean, very late in the race, you see him sideways around the corner. Um, Everybody else in one of those trucks wrecks, but Corey Heim was able to wheel it and hold it down. I just thought overall the racing was really compelling in the truck race, kind of surprisingly compelling, and it was just a good night.
Yeah, it wasn't like that crapshoot that we saw in the ARCA series on Saturday.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you weren't seeing guys like bang each other out of the way. They were making calculated moves. They weren't taking giant risks when they didn't need to. Like it was a really well done race, and you gotta give credit where it's due. Especially people dog on the truck series and the inexperience a lot. This was a really good race. Yeah, wrecks happen, but they all seemed mostly like racing deals.
yeah, dude. Totally agree. That was great racing, and we saw no stupidity out of these drivers. Maybe a couple of them, but
Sure, but
it's
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 gonna
gonna happen
happen.
in every race.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the Xfinity Series race on Saturday. Brandon Jones back with his old team at Joe Gibbs Racing, but nothing has changed. Starts off the season being involved in a wreck, ending his race early. So it's going to be another one of those years for old Brandon Jones in the 19.
I said it in our preview show. I said I feel so bad for those guys at the JGR Fab Shop having to welcome him back in, and they're already getting put to work. Didn't take very long there.
They didn't deserve that whatsoever. Austin Hill wins stages 1 and 2, and he is happy that he did because he had some mechanical issues that brought him in for repairs. He later came back out, but he was not able to go and compete for this win. Um, I would say unfortunate, but this guy has won at these super speedway tracks way too many times, and we're coming up to another track that's pretty stout for him.
Right, and with how short these races are, he went down something like 5 laps, maybe more. I think it just wasn't gonna work out and whatnot. But even with the rear end of that car blowing up, he was still out in front of the field, and can they kept mentioning it. He's like, he's probably spraying oils and liquids all over the cars behind him and whatnot. Like, can you imagine? Like, this guy's blowing up and still outdoing us. Like, how do you compete with that?
He's just too good, man. He can see the air.
Salvage his day though, winning those stages. So
Mhm.
it wasn't the end of the world for him.
Yeah.
Exactly what the stages are designed to do. Give you a little bit so you don't show up with not dominate the race, but show up go home with nothing.
Yeah. So worked out well for him. How about Chris Wright, you guys? He was saying that there was a miscommunication with his spotter that caused him to go full speed into pit road and smash into another car. He also said he said something else caused it to happen as well. He couldn't really get his story straight here. I just think that Chris Wright just can't fucking race.
That was such a weird incident. And like, even if you were being a dumbass, or even if you're trying to blame your spotter because you can't get on pit road, just tell him that your brake pedal went to the floor. We'd all believe you. I would 100% be like, "Oh, his brakes are gone." Like, that's immediately what I thought when I saw it happen. And he gets out and he goes, "There was a spotter miscommunication." How does a spotter stop you? Like,
What?
the spotter's like, "Don't touch the brake pedal. Don't touch the brake pedal. Don't touch it. Don't touch it." I was telling you to touch the brake. That's not a miscommunication. Just tell us
Yeah,
that your brake went to the floor. We'd all believe you. And
Just
then
until we see
NASCAR
the
under the
data.
table would investigate it. Yeah, like you'd see the data or whatnot, but
Like Larson at
I don't know. It
Indy
was
a
a
few years ago
weird
when he
thing.
just like tagged Ty Dillon.
Right. I I still don't think I've ever seen an explanation for that one either, but um that's the thing. This could have been way worse too. We're kind of lucky you only took out one car.
Yeah.
But what a nasty incident.
yeah. It was just really weird. Like you, you could say inexperience, but come on, this is taking inexperience to a whole different level. Like if he's not going to say that his brakes just went through the floor, then what? There's no defending that. Like he had an opportunity to say that, but he didn't say it. So that was just no defending. Like what are you doing, man?
He wasn't even trying to slow down.
Yeah.
It was
No,
odd.
he
So
just
odd.
flew. It's the fastest he went all race. So
Fun fact though, he beat Austin Hill.
yeah,
Hey.
Austin Hill finished 33rd and Chris Wright finished 32nd.
One spot better.
So
All right. All right, and then Austin Hill's teammate Jesse Love, he comes out as a winner. RCR, they're just so damn good at these drafting tracks, and I think Jesse Love is ready to show that it's not just his teammate that's going to be dominating at these tracks.
congrats to Nick for picking our first winner of the season. That's 5 bonus points to you in our competition.
yes,
Jesse
sir.
Love. Jesse Love. I mean, when he took over the race, he was
He
so
was that
cool,
good.
calm, cool, collected, composed, whatever you want to say, making the right blocks when it mattered, and he deserved the win.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
took advantage. Uh, his teammate Austin Hill, the dominant car went out, and he stepped up and took advantage of it. It's not like he wasn't up there all day either. But with Hill being out, that gave him the opportunity that he needed to go out and win this thing. So yeah, big congrats to him. Now let's just see if we could start seeing this kind of success on the other tracks that we go to.
yeah, definitely. All right, so let's
Uh,
get into what you got anything to mention, Tom?
oh yeah, I'm just saying, going into year two with him and with this team, he's going to get out some of the growing pains, and I think this win, having this right off the top of the season, will give him the confidence to go into those other types of
Yeah,
tracks and see what he can get out of the car without fearing that he's got to race for points, got to do this, that, and the other. So I think that'll build up Jesse Love for the rest of the
yeah, that's
season,
the big thing.
starting
The
off strong.
pressure's off. Pressure's
Mhm.
off of him now. He won in race one. He's got his ticket punched to the playoffs already. Now they can focus on getting better at these other tracks because they got their ticket out of the way. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. So good for Jesse Love. Good way to start off the year. Let's get into the Daytona 500. We got 10 laps into this race and we had rain. Go figure, guys. That's the name of the game with NASCAR nowadays. You got to expect a little bit of weather. but this kicked us out for a few hours. We all had to go home, sit on the couch, unfortunately. And but
Those chili dogs were great.
oh yeah, the chili dogs were fantastic. Um,
Uh, I mean, people saying you got to call for earlier start times. When an earlier start time wouldn't have stopped this rain shower, and we still would have had to sit there. That we wouldn't have gotten halfway starting at noon Eastern. It it's just Florida in the winter. You're gonna get
5 a.m.
Florida anywhere. Florida any time of year, you're gonna get these rain showers that pass through here. So
yep,
I think NASCAR did a good job getting the track ready and getting the racing.
Yeah, the wind really helped out in this one. So glad that this thing did not get pushed to Monday and that they were able to get back going.
yeah, it would have been another disaster from last year.
I'm
Um,
still annoyed with because when they came out of the rain delay,
Ugh,
and then they ran 10 laps under caution, and then they went back under the rain delay. It's like,
stupid.
why should those count? Don't count those laps. Let's race. Let everybody just fuel up their car, clear the cars off of pit road. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but it annoyed me when they just rode around for 10 laps and then went back and put the cars under the covers.
yeah, that makes no
It's
sense to
frustrating.
me. All right, so when we get back going, unfortunately, AJ Allmendinger, who is making another Cup Series run, has engine issues and takes him out early in the race, finishing last to start off the season. So, Nick,
Womp
yeah,
womp.
Nick, I know you were saying he's going to be hating his life again running in the Cup
Ugh.
Series, and I think he's already off
Hey,
to a early start for it.
hey, man, Ty Dillon says it's the best opportunity that he's ever had to go out and win races. So I expect Colleague race winning cars this year. Great start for him.
All right,
I mean,
so
Ty Dillon was looking good all weekend, though. He's looking kind of fast in the right
Let's go to
spaces.
a real racetrack, and then we'll figure out where Ty
Hmm.
Dillon's at.
Hmm.
agreed. I think once we get
I'm
to
gonna be. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be the biggest hater. I'm gonna be the biggest Cog racing hater this season,
they did your
Now
boy
that
and
you
it's
don't
dirty,
have
all
to
man. I
cheer
don't
for him.
blame
and
you.
it's it's all Richard Childress' fault for buying Ty Dillon yet another ride so he can go out and run 30th every week. I can't wait. I'm gonna be their biggest hater. I'm saying this right now. I'm gonna be their biggest hater. I will probably talk shit about them at least once on every show that we do the rest of the season.
I like it.
I'm gonna make I'm gonna make it a note to do that. I'm gonna add it to my notes. Talk shit about college racing and Ty Dillon.
I like it. All right, so Joey Logano wins stage one, and then we get a big wreck on lap 71. The outside line stacked up Ross Chastain, and unfortunately, Elio Castroneves was involved as well. He was just not having a good weekend. He ran well. He ran very well in the ARCA race. He was really learning how to run in this draft in the Cup Series race, but unfortunately, something completely out of his control took him out. But I hope this isn't the last time we see Elio in a Cup Series car.
I mean, they have the promoters provisional, so like they can put him in a car anytime they want, as long as they have sponsorship and don't want prize money. So maybe he will come back. Maybe he'll just come out and do the Glen and be like, "I'll do it for free again." It's good stuff. But no, he ran great, and every single incident that Ilio was involved in was not his issue. He just kind of got tagged in. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of inexperience in reacting to the types of wrecks and where to go. But other than that, I mean, he was just blindsided a lot of the time. Even after the checkered at the ARCA race, which I still haven't seen a good view of that. Like I didn't even believe it when you guys told me about it. It's like I didn't see it on the broadcast. Had to go back and look for it.
Yeah, I guess
What a
the
messy
guy
weekend. But
who
he enjoyed himself and he was having a great time, and why not?
yeah,
Why not?
I guess the guy who wrecked him didn't even know that the race was over.
Ugh.
That's
So,
ARCA for you.
yeah, that's
Ugh.
that ARCA experience.
Now that one you could call a spotter miscommunication, saying "checkered flag, bud, it's over."
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so Team Penske, they kick off the Cup Series season. with a big dub. Blaney wins stage 2, so good for the two Penske drivers. And then Joey Logano happens. Him and Ricky Stenhouse decide to have a pissing contest um, with three wide, and they take out quite a few drivers, including Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Noah Gregson. My boy was having such a good race. And my pick for last week, Kyle Busch. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration will not happen for old Rowdy Bush this year, maybe 21 next year.
I was so upset. We were in such a good position, just track position wise, and it shows you the type of speedway racing we have with these next gen cars. It's like you do anything you want. You can't really do anything. You just kind of got to ride around and hope you don't get caught up in something until the seas part for you in the right or the wrong ways and whatnot. And man, tough, just tough.
Yeah.
And Kyle, I mean, I was watching Kyle's in car the whole time on HBO Max, which is an incredible resource that we now have. I was going back after the race and watching individual drivers because they're up all week. You go back right now and watch Riley Herbst save it through the infield at the end of the race. Um, just see what they're talking about. But hearing Kyle in the car, he the microphones are hot in the car, even if he's not on the radio. And when he's sitting there against the inside wall, can't get it started. Um, the frustration and the grief just kind of all came out there, and it was just it's tough to watch. We were in the perfect position, and you can do everything right at Daytona for the 500 and still get caught up in it. So
when you
so
got
sad.
Yeah.
when you got the 47 involved and you got the
Yeah,
22 involved on a super speedway, best of luck to you.
and like,
That
where are they going to
that was
go? Where are you going to go? You still have 15 laps left. What
Yeah.
what do you expect to happen?
They're just two fucking
Awful,
idiots, man. I can't
super
awful.
stand it no
speedway
more.
racing in the Cup Series. That's what it comes down to, unfortunately.
I mean, this is after Joey Logano blows up his engine, sucks in something in there, and they basically rebuilt the top of the engine to get back into it. Like, that was an incredible thing on its own. I thought he was done after leading stage one, and suddenly he comes back and is able to cause a race, cause the wreck, and ruin the race for a ton of people.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah, Tom, I was right there with you. I had
Oh,
the HBO Max in-car cam on Noah. I saw the wreck happen. I didn't know if Noah was in it. Then I look right at the TV with
hmm
Noah's cam, and I just see him sideways. I was like, "No, damn it!"
I I try it because like either my YouTube TV or Max was ahead. I can't remember which one, but I was like pausing it to try to get them to line up as best I could and whatnot. And like the first wreck, I was like, "Oh my God, Kyle spun in that," and I know he had damage from that too. But I saw that one happen on that big stack up.
Yeah,
It's just such a cool resource. Watch it. Watch the race side by side. Watch the broadcast and watch. Pick a driver and just follow him. Listen to the spot. You get the team communications. It's fantastic.
yeah. I was just like you. I had to like go back like maybe like
hmm
10, 15 seconds on the max feed just so it'd be synced up with my YouTube
Yeah.
TV feed. But I thought it was great. I was really impressed. Every time they would go to commercial, I would mute my main TV and just turn
Exactly.
up
It
the
doesn't go
audio
to
for my driver.
commercial.
Yep, and I was like, all right, this is perfect. I can just stay on my driver the whole time during commercials. Even though I loved it, Fox
hmm
was awesome this weekend. Every commercial break
Yeah,
during racing was side by side. I absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. CW
they
shout out
learned
as
something.
well. CW's broadcast
hmm
was absolutely incredible. I loved everything about it.
My one note for Max is the audio. It's the engine sounds are cool, but it does get a little loud. And they bring down the engine sounds when the radio are cued in. They need to leave the engine at that brought down level and just so you can have that car with just a little bit of engine sound, and then you have the broadcast on the side. That would be perfect. And then when the radio does come in, it shouts out over everything. That would be I think Max can work on that a little bit, but
Yeah, and it is a
who
little
knows
bit
if they're
ahead
listening to me.
too. Like the audio is
hmm
ahead because when I watched
Yeah, the
like
audio is not synced up. You'll
yeah,
hear them start to crash before you see it.
yeah,
And
because
there's
when
there's no
Noah was
pausing you can do to line that up.
yeah, because when Noah was doing a pit stop, they're like go 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 go, and he was just sitting on
Mhm.
pit row. I was like, ah, shit, something's
I was like,
wrong.
why isn't he going? What's happening? Yeah, every time. I was like, he's late. What's happening?
Yeah.
Mm.
But so far, I love it. NASCAR's doing a great job with all their broadcast partners. All right, so where were we? 5 to go. Mr. Ryan Preece, you need to go take some classes with NASA because this guy took flight. I don't know if you guys saw his new profile picture, but
Yeah.
he's an astronaut now.
Mhm.
I think he deserves it, but this guy just has the
Ugh.
worst luck. He has taken some big freaking hits in his career. And
And
this
he's
one,
finding new ways how to flip a car.
yeah, dude, he literally did a wheelie. It looked like he was playing Rocket League out there.
It was incredible to see him okay and get out, and um, hearing him in his interview afterwards was really telling and whatnot. Like, yeah, you got to keep him on the ground, obviously.
It
Hmm.
just
Apparently,
chills
NASCAR knows
when
what to do. So who knows? I think that comes out as a little bit of frustration. NASCAR is going to take a look at that and try to stop that from happening. But we see
yeah,
these cars
but
ramp up off each other.
over and over again. They keep saying we're gonna fix it, we're gonna fix it, but here we are, still same thing happening. And that's just it's a product of this racing shit, but it's a product of this car. There's something with this car that's getting they're just like paper airplanes in the air, like
Well,
they're just so light and they're going for a ride.
go back to the Clash when Ty Gibbs takes a swipe at Justin Haley. His car did exactly what Priest's did. It just how it happens he's going 20 miles an hour and it just sets back down. But Ryan Preece suddenly gets turned to the right. I mean, this is shades of Austin Dillon getting set up into the catch fence too. At certain speeds, the cars are going to come off the ground if you hit them the wrong way and whatnot. So, if, in my opinion, and kind of what Denny Hamlin's talking about, there's a problem with the package, and it's because these guys are so close together, can't make their own luck. The cars are so draggy. Yeah, the drag you're slowing them down, so maybe they don't lift up in the air, but they're still lifting up in the air. So if you get them less draggy, these guys will have a little more space. You may not get in as many wrecks.
And it's just what he said in his interview when he said the first thing he thought about
Mm.
was his daughter. That's some scary stuff
Stuff.
right there.
Yeah.
Very glad to see that he's okay, and they gotta fix this because this is just happening
I don't
way
know,
too much.
guys. I think there might be a little bit more grass we can get rid of. That might stop the flipping. No,
Yeah.
what I think is the problem is that these cars nowadays they're built like Hot Wheels. You look
Yeah,
underneath the car and it's completely smooth. It is so easy for air to just travel under there and pick it right up. It is literally not built like this anymore. You cannot see any more of that. And I really do think that is the problem. The diffuser as well. We've seen so many issues with rear diffusers and the, it can't be helping whatsoever. So, next gen car, it's got a lot of freaking flaws and it's going to kill someone one of these days.
insane.
I mean,
And I
the hits are so hard too. I
Yeah.
mean,
Ryan Priest said that
that's
this hit
just
was
tough.
harder than the one a few years ago at
Hmm.
Daytona when his eyes were all bruised up. So I
Yeah,
can't imagine how
it's
the guy's going to be
it's landing
looking.
on the rub blocks and
Yeah.
I
I can
mean,
tell
we almost saw him
you,
go up into the fence.
yeah, I can tell you one guy who's not looking forward to going having to go to yet another super speedway this weekend, and that's Ryan Priest.
Yeah. Oh man, he's going to be doing some praying before he gets in that car. I know that. But guys, you were talking about it earlier, looking at Riley Herbst's camera. Man, one to go. I see the 35 get spun. He dips down into the infield grass, and I'm just like, no, not again. Not 2 years in a row. We're coming to the white, and they wreck. But Riley Herbst, man, this guy's been in a lot of wrecks in his career as well, and he knew how to save this. He knew how to save this race, and they let them fight to the end. We get a wreck on the
Pitch.
backstretch. NASCAR let them race it out.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time we've seen NASCAR officiating do something right for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, well,
Let
they
them race
had
it out.
5 times earlier in the
Yeah,
week to get it wrong.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's frankly, it's inconsistent because you're gonna throw the caution 200 feet before the line at at the Clash, but you're gonna wait while everything's happening technically closer to the leaders. If it happens on the backstretch, that's a little bit frustrating to me. I mean, they're throwing the caution and the race at every other race this week, and they didn't for the Cup Series. Finally, I mean, it's. I just wish it'd be consistent, because if you throw the caution right as the cars are entering four, when you decide that people are done wrecking and there's cars stuck or whatever, that's fine too. I mean, it's understandable, but for them to throw the caution early, throw the caution early, throw the caution early, throw the caution early. Oh, we're gonna let them race this time. It comes across inconsistent, and then the drivers aren't gonna know what to do when they're like, well, I guess the caution's not out. I gotta hammer down through this wreck.
Yeah. Can't really give him kudos just because, what Eric Jones has got to be thinking, like, are you kidding me? Like,
Well, they did
200,
just say they
200,
regret
100
bringing
miles.
out that caution for
Oh,
Eric
of
Jones.
course they say that.
So they
But they're
did
We're
gonna do
say
it
that.
again.
sorry.
They're gonna do it
So
again this
Please,
weekend in Atlanta. They're gonna do
please.
it again this weekend in Atlanta. NASCAR officiating is some of the worst officiating, the most inconsistent officiating.
Hey, but they have a new podcast to explain why they're the
Yeah.
worst.
oh
It's
man,
just
but
it's tough. It's tough. And it's frustrating. I mean, all of these Daytona 500s recently have been ending in wrecks. And maybe there's an issue with that too, just in general.
It,
We don't
it's the
we
same script.
if we fix the super speedway package and let the drivers be in control of the race again and in control of themselves, then we don't have to worry about NASCAR pressing the button, because they're coming to the line for an amazing photo finish.
It's just that the Daytona 500 has just turned into such a scripted race. Really, all these super speedway
Mhm.
races have. It's the fuel saving, and then maybe they'll try and go for it for a little bit. All it's going to take is one incident, and then they're just going to sit there and ride. And then you get to the white flag lap, and somebody lays a dumb block like they always do. And then you get what we always get. You get wrecks. You get stupid wrecks, and people get hurt, and that's why these drivers, they literally almost all of them say that they hate this kind of racing. And I don't think it used to be that way. I don't know. I've only been watching since 2011, but yeah, I don't know. And now I'm really pissed off that we
No,
have to go back to a super speedway again this weekend.
but you've
Get the
even
real race. Let the
seen,
real racing get underway.
in the time you've been watching, you've even seen the drivers be in more control of their own
Yeah,
destiny and what. I mean, we used to see Denny riding in the pack, and then he'd pull out to the back knowing he could get back to the front,
you can't do that
just because
anymore.
he didn't feel like the energy was right. Now, if you pull to the back, you're not going anywhere. They're running 3x3, and it looks nice. And I've heard this said so many times this week. They're like, well, yeah, it looks great to the casual fans. What does that accomplish? What is looking good to people that don't know what's going on accomplish? Because once they figure out what's going on, which is that it's not actually a good race, they won't be established long enough to
And,
want to
and
stay. And then they're ruining it for the rest of us who've watched it all our lives and watched it change so much for the worse.
it was just crazy. In the pack, they were running 3 seconds slower than the single car qualifying
Yeah.
speeds. That was absurd.
The leaders
And
are
that's
running
just,
60% throttle.
it's absolutely absurd.
But like, you keep pandering towards the casual fan. Just be yourself. Say, hey, you guys are going to drive 500 miles. We're not going to tell you when to stop. We're not going to tell you when you have to pit. Maybe, I don't know if it'll work to get rid of the stages like they tried with road courses. At least
I do, yeah.
you might have less of it, but you'd still have the fuel saving. They just run the race backwards. Basically, they're like, all right, we're going to fuel save until we get to 40 to go, whether or not you're stopping in the middle. But I don't know. It's just tough to see them be like, yeah, well, it looks great to the casual fan. That's exactly what they want. And NASCAR's not going to change anything because it does look great to the casual fan. But if you have it that way, they're gonna get smart to it. They're gonna wise up to it, and then they're not gonna stick around because they're like, oh, it's WWE out here. It's fake.
yeah, definitely gonna have to do something with super speedway racing.
Mhm.
Not the
And
way it used to be.
As Denny said, he said you want the winner of the race to be like, I waited for my opportunity. I made the move. I got the run. I generated the speed to come around at the last second and win the race. You don't want them to be like, oh, I was running 8th and they all crashed in front of me and I guess I got lucky. We made a good car and it lasted till the end of the race and then I got lucky. Like, yeah, they're happy. Byron's happy they won, but how much skill was in it? He's running
He
8th.
just seemed, yeah, he seems more shocked than like pumped up that he won that race. And I mean, on these super speedways, luck is gonna be a factor
It's
in it, but
always been a factor,
it's
but it's
always
more
been a
now.
factor. But now, yeah, it is more of luck now than before. Man, I'm gutted though. I was 2 turns away from a 4th Daytona 500, and then just part of it, just damn super speedways, man.
Yeah.
Fucking getting wrecked like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And then, yeah, Cole Custer took him out. I guess, did you hear about his spotter communications?
I
No.
saw that clip.
Cole Custer's spotter thought he was the 24.
Was
Basically,
spotting the
he
24
was
around
spotting
the
the
corner after the
24.
wreck.
And he was like,
Oh.
"Oh, you're clear, you're clear." And then that's when Cole made the move and took them all out.
Yeah.
So that
Man.
you can't blame Cole on that, man. You got to give it right to the spotter because in a high situation, in a high pace situation like that where you're on the final lap of the Daytona 500, you're gonna do what your spotter says.
The cars
Jesus.
don't even look the same. The numbers don't
No,
look the same.
it's got a
That
yellow
dumbass.
Byron has a
24.
big yellow number on the
Yeah.
top of his
There
car.
better.
What are you doing, guy? Oh,
There better be a spotter change.
Haas factory team out to a great start. Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ. All right, well, I will. I'm still pissed off at Cole Custer for wrecking Denny Hamlin, but I'm not as pissed off as I was now after hearing this news. He was on a mission to take out Gibbs cars that day. But I guess maybe his spotter hates JGR or something, and his spotter was on a mission to take out Gibbs cars. But
Wow.
man, that just sucks. 2 turns away from a 4th Daytona 500 to get taken away like that. That fucking sucks.
Yep. And now William Byron is the youngest multi-time Daytona 500 champion over his boss, Jeff Gordon. So that's pretty cool. Jeff said he likes it and he hopes he wins more. So good for
Hey,
young William Byron.
yeah, great for him. How about Legacy Motor Club?
Yeah, old
Third
Jimmy
for
John Hunter
Jimmy.
John Hunter Nemechek, top 5. Jimmy Johnson, his first top 20 ever
In a legacy car.
in the next gen car. And then Eric Jones comes across 12th. Eric Jones is sitting 7th in points. John Hunter Nemechek sitting 9th in points. Jimmy Johnson sitting 8th in the Cup points.
Dude, he's gonna be like, I'm back.
He's like, I'm running the season. Fuck it, let's go. But yeah, I mean, and then you got Junior Motorsports getting their first top 10 in their first race. Like,
Junior was so
I mean,
happy.
good finishes for a lot of these guys. Junior was just happy to be there. It sounded like, but it was again interesting finish. But again, it's kind of like you roll some dice with all the car numbers on it, and then whichever ones are showing up is your top 10
He's
for
good
this
at
one.
rolling dice. Is that damn 24 team is just so good at rolling that dice.
Yeah.
So many of his wins have come out of situations like this. Hey, we want to talk about Alex Bowman backing himself into wins, but William Byron actually has the speed, so it's justified in the ones
Yeah,
that he
William
backs
Byron actually
himself
like
into.
wins consistently and like
Yeah,
yeah,
but
there's
a lot of luck,
I wouldn't say a
been on his
lot
side.
of luck, but
Well,
he's got
what
some luck.
races? What races has he gone out and just been like, "Yep, William Byron has dominated this race"? Maybe Martinsville
Nothing
last
comes
year,
to mind. Yeah,
but nothing
Martinsville.
really
Martinsville
comes
last
to
year.
mind. That was it, though.
Atlanta, the first super speedway Atlanta, he was
All right,
out
that's a
front.
super speedway. That's a
Yeah.
super speedway.
Well,
I don't count that.
hey, William Byron. They say the skilled drivers keep rising to the top, and William Byron is the winningest super speedway driver in the next gen era. So that's nothing to turn your nose at either.
Yeah.
He's a lucky guy.
All right. So last week we talked about bringing in a new fun point system for the stock car spectacle. And we have, well, I guess this is our second week of results since we did count the Clash, but now we have a full weekend of points from all 3 series. So, Tom, I know you had a rough weekend with the points.
Ugh.
Why don't you break it down for us, buddy?
Yeah, I had one single second place finish, and that was for the Xfinity Series. So I'm sitting in last right now with 15 points. Then Ian, respectable showing. Um, you're sitting there in second with 50.
All
But
right.
Nick had a great weekend, including, like we said earlier, he our first 5 bonus points for a win. He got 75 here. So
Ooh.
after the
Good
first week,
start.
75, 50, 15. I got to step it up here.
Hey, long season. You only got 45
Yeah.
weeks to go.
Yeah.
Long season.
Yeah, a lot can happen. But that is going to go into our next segment where we're going to be making our picks for Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll be right back to make all those picks. Stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. We are going to be making our picks for Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend. We got all three series running. We're going to kick off with the Truck Series on Saturday afternoon. The Freight Racing 208, 208 miles, 135 laps. Stages 1 and 2 will be 30 laps each, and the final will be 75. Last year's winner was Mr. Rowdy, Kyle Busch himself, running with that Spire truck. He is back this weekend, along with Michael McDowell in the '07 and William Sawalich in the 1 for Tricon. Um, Most manufacturer wins here, guys. Toyota, they got 10 wins here. That is pretty stout. So if you want a winner, maybe want to point towards a Yoder. But Tom,
I still don't think we have enough data on this track and the new
No.
configuration. Yeah, it's kind of silly to lump in all the history with the stats with this new configuration. I'm also curious to see because we know the surface at Atlanta always aged so quickly. Will this be a typical drafting super speedway like we've seen the past couple of years, or will we start to break it up? And how will that affect the racing? It's going to be curious to watch all weekend for all three series.
yeah, definitely has changed over the years since they have done the reconfiguration. But
Hmm.
Tom, who do you got going to victory lane on Saturday afternoon?
Saturday afternoon. I mean, you got the winningest driver in the history of NASCAR in the race. You got to go with the winningest driver in the history of NASCAR. So I got to go with my guy Kyle Busch. We're gonna point to the sign. It's right up here. We're gonna race. We're gonna win. We're gonna bow, and then maybe we'll repeat on Sunday, but probably
Maybe.
not. Maybe, probably not.
We'll see how it goes. All right, Nick, who is your Truck Series winner?
I'm going to go with another experienced Cup veteran that will be in this field. I am going to go with Michael McDowell. Always good on these super speedway drafting kind of tracks. And this one is probably going to run a little bit different than what we see at Daytona. It usually does. So I expect experience to really be the way to go for this race. So yeah, give me McDowell.
Yeah, I was disappointed with how he ran at the trucks at Daytona, but he hadn't run one. I think they said in
Yeah,
16 years,
it's
so I
been
think
so
he was kind of
long.
getting used to it and whatnot. But now he'll have one under his belt. I think we'll see him understand more what he has to do earlier.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so well, you guys picked the easy ones. You picked the Cup Series winners.
Mm,
So I gotta go with a Truck Series regular. This guy who's just been so damn hungry to get a win in the past few years. Tanner Gray, his time is finally coming. Atlanta Motor Speedway, this track is absolutely insane ever since they brought in the super speedway racing into it. And I think we're gonna see some chaos. It was a little calm at Daytona, Tom, like you said earlier. This was
Mm.
a very good race, very clean race for Daytona in the Truck Series. But we're coming to Atlanta, a lot smaller, a lot closer together. I think we're gonna see some carnage, and we're gonna see some luck. And I
Oof.
think luck might be on Tanner Gray's side
I like it.
for
It's
once.
taking a mashup of a super speedway and a short track. It's always interesting to watch.
Dude,
I'm just
it's
curious to see how that surface ages.
It's like Talladega on crack, man. I
A
swear.
lot of a lot of good names left on the list here, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's get into the Xfinity race Saturday evening. Bennett Transportations and Logistics 250 got some freaking mouthful. 251 miles, 163 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 40 laps each, and the final is 83 laps. Previous winner, Austin Hill, spring and fall. This guy, he just loves super speedway racing. He loves his home track of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chevrolet, 21 wins at this track. I know you said statistics kind of throw them out the window, but they have been consistently winning as well since they have brought in the new configuration. Big notable in this one, Eric Almirola. He is returning for another part-time season with Joe Gibbs Racing. He will be in that 19. So, Tom, once again, you are our first pick for Xfinity. Who you going with, bud?
I learned something from Daytona, and that was that the Haas Xfinity program is still strong, and they bring in two strong cars, and so I'm going to pick one of them, the guy who hasn't won yet. I think he'll take the lid off the basket, so to speak, and Sheldon Creed will drop his first win. He was right there the whole race at Daytona, but I guess he's been doing that a lot in his life. But hey, you guys got to pick one better than me to to outscore me. So I still think I'd be pretty happy with a second place finish.
Well, I got to go with the guy who I think is going to get that first place finish just because he's got that dog in him at these tracks. Austin Hill, you got Tom, you left him on the table for me, so I just got to take that easy win right there.
I
It's
did.
it's
I
all
did.
lining,
Hey, they
all
didn't
lining.
bring a good car.
Well,
He
they're going to bring
It
one for his
broke.
home track.
Bennett is the sponsor. Bennett is sponsoring the name of this race. It's his home track. How could this go? How could this go wrong for him? I'll tell you how it goes wrong for him because I'm doubling down on my pick this week. He got me my first victory last week, and he just so happens to be Austin Hill's teammate. I'm going with Jesse Love. I'm gonna, I'm just gonna ride the hot hands right now. Austin Hill went down last week. Jesse Love was there to step in and get the job done. So I expect the same thing to happen this week. Austin Hill goes down again, and little brother comes in. Jesse Love comes in, gets the job done. And what would that be? Like 25 more points for me for our points.
These guys are still gonna finish 1, 2, 3, and I'm
Oh,
still gonna get 0 points this week.
Oh man, and it's going to be a three wide photo finish too. That's how it's going to go down.
Why
oh
not?
yeah.
Why not? Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's get into the big race on Sunday, the Am Better Health 400 mile race, 260 laps. Stage 1 is 60 and the final two stages will be 100 laps each. Previous winners here, we had Daniel Suarez win in that three wide photo finish last year, one of the most thrilling finishes that we have seen, and Joey Logano won in the fall. Guys, Chevy dominates Atlanta Motor Speedway. 45 times they have gone to victory lane across the spring and fall race. That is just pure domination right there. So, that's one of my influences for going with my pick today. I got to go with the previous Daytona 500 champion, William Byron. This guy, he loves super speedway racing. He won the first Atlanta race with this new configuration. So he's got a lot of just great pride on his side. I think he's going to look great.
What a way to start off the season that would be for him.
Oh,
Both
man,
you
that
guys
would
are
be
going back
incredible.
to back winners.
Yep.
Riding the hot hand.
Well,
Hmm.
Tom, who is your Cup Series winner on Sunday?
I don't want to say it because I don't like it. But the Fords led 62% of the laps at Daytona. Why would you not pick a Ford if you're coming back to another drafting track? Who knows if it'll act like a drafting track? But the Fords led 62% of the laps. Chances are they'll be leading at the end, and I got to go with the one that looked like the fastest car on the track, which is the 22. I don't want to say his name. I'm going with the 22.
And we'll see if Ricky Stenhouse has anything to say about that.
Mm,
Yeah, all right.
mm.
All right, Nico.
Well, for my pick, I'm staying in the Penske camp. I'm going. He had a great speed weeks last week. He won his dual race, and he's been very good on the drafting tracks. He's a Daytona 500 winner, and he was very good here in the fall race last year. I'm going with the 2 car of Austin Cindric. For me, the Fords, they in this car they seem to show up the best on these super speedways, and Penske and just they run well here. So yeah, Austin Cindric is going to he's gonna get it done, and that pains me to say it. He's gonna get it done, but I'll take all the points I can get. Let's just rack them up early.
Denny Hamlin gave a glowing review of Austin Cindric on Actions Detrimental, saying that he likes his mindset on these super speedways. He thinks that's how everybody should be racing. He doesn't make erratic moves. He's always found up towards the front at these types of track because he knows what he's doing. He knows how to get it done. I like
Yeah,
that.
for Denny, I hope that he takes whatever kind of agenda they had here in the fall last year and throw that shit out the window. That was one of the worst races I've ever seen from Denny Hamlin. Was this race in the fall
Ugh.
last year, where he tried to ride in the back and backfired on him, and that really started what was a horrendous playoff run for that 11 team. So take it, throw it out, and let's get back to work.
Agreed. All right, guys. Well, we got some great picks going into this weekend. I wish you fellas good luck, but I'm going 3 for 3. Sorry for you guys.
Uh-oh. I need some help. Don't kick me while I'm down.
Dude, you do. That's for sure. Well, guys, I think that will wrap it up for us here at the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, make sure to share it with your friends, and check out all of our links down below. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Nick Kinsel.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
and we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy Hot Atlanta.